I wanted to check in with you guys and give a special happy 29th anniversary to Nas's It Was Written album. It Was Written is one of those albums that I feel like over time has definitely aged incredibly well and is a lot more appreciated right now in the 2020s than it was in 1996, to be honest with you. Um, I do remember when It Was Written dropped. I remember when If I Ruled the World was all on MTV Jams. I can't believe that it's been 29 years, man. That's so crazy. Um, I I was 12 years old when Illmatic dropped. So Illmatic was slightly before me. I mean, I was hearing the stuff. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, right? So it's like we weren't hearing hip hop on the radio like that, not on mainstream radio. And at the time, for the people who are here in Atlanta, we only had one urban radio station. That was B103. B103 was the only radio station that was playing black music. And at that time, there really was no hip hop radio. Hip hop got played late at night. I tell the story all the time. Like I remember Ryan Cameron probably being the first person that I heard playing hip hop records at all in Atlanta. And those were TLC records. You might have heard some Outkast stuff. You would have heard some bass music, whatever. We didn't really start getting hip hop in rotation out here, like on the 6 to 10 slot until Greg Street got out here in 95. And this is 96 now, you know what I mean? So, at this point, hip hop has really hit that barrier where hip hop is now on the radio, and I'm seeing hip hop where it's not super late at night, right? And so It Was Written for many reasons was kind of my commercialized introduction to Nas. Like I remember seeing It Ain't Hard to Tell on Yo MTV Raps or One Love on Yo MTV Raps. But for the most part, seeing Nas in constant rotation and seeing the fade, what I'm saying, the haircut that was iconic now, It Was Written as that moment for me. And I remember me and my friends going to cop It Was Written. The CD didn't have my favorite song that was on there, which is Silent Murder. That was on the tape. And I'm even to this day, Silent Murder is my favorite. It's definitely my favorite song. It Was Written. It might be my favorite Nas song of all time. And one of the big memories of It Was Written was the fact that when you open up that booklet and you saw all of those rhymes, I say this, and I will say this straight up, man. Nas, 1996, is probably the best MC to ever touch the earth. Like the way he was rapping in 1996. Now, I'll be on record and say Illmatic is still the best because Illmatic is probably one of the greatest hip hop albums ever, period. So I don't even like, having that conversation when it comes to that and It Was Written. But when it comes to It Was Written, you could tell that he elevated himself as an MC. Similar to what we could see with Rakim on Paid in Full in relation to Follow the Leader. Paid in Full's the better album. It has the songs that got the bangers, the production, all of those things. And Rakim's doing his thing, of course. But when you listen to Rakim on Follow the Leader, he's a better MC. And same thing here with Nas. You're hearing a better MC. The stories are more intricate. You got I Gave You Power. You got of course Silent Murder. You got Shootout. You got The Message. And I think at the time, many of us we listen to the media. We're kids. You know what I'm saying? Like kids are listening to the media. That's why what we do here in the media is so important. The youth will kind of go to, other pundits and people who look like they know what they're talking about for their cues. And I think a lot of the time, well, not a lot of the time, what happened then was the fact that we were going to the media for cues, and all the media kept telling us was, this isn't Illmatic. This isn't Illmatic. And I think that that kind of starts seeping in to the point where you can't appreciate what was actually in front of you. And It Was Written definitely needs to be appreciated. And I'm so glad that over time, once the Illmatic hangover is kind of gone in people's minds, we can actually sit back and listen to this album and appreciate it for the brilliance that it is. It's not an album that should have ever been slept on. I think the other part of it was the fact that Nas was kind of forced to go commercial in a sense, and I don't even wanna say it in that way. Thing is, hip hop in 1994 is different than hip hop in 1996. In 1996, like I said, radio comes into play now, and so you need those records in ways that you might not have needed those records in 1994. With Biggie and Pac and shoot, Dre and Snoop, even though they had already done it, but continuing to take over radio and what Death Row was doing to national radio and television. Death Row was all over MTV. To compete as a big dog in hip hop, you needed radio play. And you should want that level of radio play so you could pull people in to go purchase your effort and hear the brilliance that you got going on your album altogether. And I think that that quest to make "And If I Ruled the World," which I feel like is incredibly important to Nas's career and Lauren's career as well, is one of the things that fogs people's judgment when it comes to looking at it was written in relation to Illmatic. In many respects, it was written as an elevation from Illmatic. I mean, we got deeper stories, got a little bit more range from the MC if we're talking about, being able to have some level of commercial appeal. I don't think he fell off as an MC on there in any level on any level. I feel like he elevated actually. But the songs on Illmatic, they're just tough to beat. You know what I'm saying? Like it was well packaged. It had a dream team of producers on it, and he was raw, straight out of Queensbridge, and he was hungry. And I feel like he was hungry on It Was Written as well. But I think that some of the production choices and the fact that, and not I only want to say it like that, not the production choices make you feel like that, but the fact that the producers that were chosen for this album weren't the producers that we got on that first album. A lot of people say that Marley Marl was, well, I think that it was already confirmed that Marley Marl was originally supposed to be the executive producer if It Was Written. I think if that happens, then maybe that viewpoint changes a little bit, but that's a whole different album. I don't know. And that's one of the great what ifs in hip hop that we don't talk about as well. But I think that It Was Written definitely needs to be saluted. And when you look at Nas's incredible catalog and incredible career, It Was Written remains as one of the top efforts. And that's not an easy feat to accomplish when you're talking about the greatest MC of all time. But yes, I figured that I needed to come and check in on that because It Was Written needs to be celebrated as well. This Mike D checking in here. And hey, man, you guys hit that like and subscribe, man. We really appreciate it. About to elevate for y'all. Yep.